Call the roll to establish a quorum.
Sue Ross. Here. Sol Hernandez. Here. Garrett Gatewood. Patrick Kennedy. Darren Soon.
Here.
Jay Chenier.
Here.
Phil Serna.
Here.
Jeff Slowey.
Here.
Eric Guerra.
Here.
Don Natali.
Here.
Okay, we have a quorum. Ms. Kennedy, you want to lead us in the pledge? Didn't see that one coming, did you?
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, come on up, Faye. We're going to move to matters not on the agenda.
Do I need to?
You are up.
Chair, before we
Chair.
start, we need to read the
This
announcement.
statement.
I'm sorry.
We need to read this, the
Okay.
clerk's
No,
statement.
Faye, you can wait there. Go. You're good. Go ahead.
Okay.
Read the statement, because God forbid we should start without reading the statement.
I know. This meeting of the Sacramento Public Library Authority is being videotaped in its entirety, and it will be cable cast without interruption on Metro Cable 14, the Government Affairs channel on the Comcast, Consolidated Communications, and AT&T UVerse cable systems. And it will be webcast at the www.sacmetrocable.tv. Today's meeting is being shown live, and it will be repeated at 4 p.m. on Saturday, March 2nd, and at 3 p.m. on Sunday, March 3rd, on Channel 14. This meeting is closed captioned. A DVD copy will be available for checkout from any library branch no later than 2 weeks following today's meeting. A public copy of the full agenda, including reports, is available for viewing at the back table and is available on the library website at www.saclibrary.org. Members of the audience wishing to address the board should complete a speaker identification form located at the back table and give it to the clerk. Please speak into the microphone when addressing the board and state your name for the record. Comments are limited to 3 minutes so that everyone may be heard. In consideration of others, please silence your cell phone at this time.
Okay, great. Ms. Kennedy, how are you today?
Oh, I'm doing fine.
You have
Once
really
again-
important things to tell us.
Yes, thank you. Once again, my name is Faye Wilson Kennedy, and on behalf of Blue Now Press and the Sacramento Black Book Fair, I'd like to thank you for your continued support. All of you should have a copy of our flyer. The book fair this year is going to be 2 days. It's going to be, we're going to kick off with our opening reception on May 31st, and then an all-day, starting with the Books on Parade on Saturday, June 1st. And we'd like to thank the library for your continued support, sending out the librarians and staff to support it. We'd like to specifically thank Councilmember Jay Chenier and my council member Eric Guerra for always stepping forward and supporting the book fair by coming out, by sponsoring us, as well as Friends of the Library. It's a wonderful event. This is our 6th annual year. It gets bigger each year. So we ask all of you, if you can't come out and spend the day with us, please share the information with your constituent. Even though it's called the Sacramento Black Book Fair, but it's open to all families. It's a wonderful way, and the most important thing is free. Everything is free, and we understand families are on a tight budget. So on behalf of Blue Now Press and the Sacramento Black Book Fair, thank you very much. Any questions?
So, Faye, maybe Mr. Guerra wants to speak, but maybe what you could also do is send to Rivka an electronic copy of your
Okay.
flyer so that we can include it in our email list as
Got
it
it.
goes out. Mr. Guerra?
Yeah, I just wanted to encourage anybody, if you can, participate and support it because it's free. We want to encourage more folks to engage in literacy. Not only that, it's just a unique time to meet some authors that sometimes don't get the recognition that they
Right,
deserve,
right.
but you get to meet not only a good number of authors, but more importantly, we're encouraging more literacy. So with that, I thank you, Ms. Kennedy, for being a
Thank you very
champion.
much. And then finally, we are in the process of doing what we call community readings, where we're out in the community, going to schools, community centers, reading to the children. And so thank you very much for supporting us throughout the year.
Great,
Thank
and
you.
I believe your check is in the mail from my office. All right, we're going to move to presentations 3.1, Friends of the Sac Public Library. How are you today?
I'm fine. How are you all?
Great.
At least it's not raining today. My name is Anita Scurry, and I'm president of the Friends of the Sacramento Public Library. And I just wanted to give you a very short report on what our partnership with the library has given to the library this year, besides 50+ thousand hours of volunteer time. In its strategic plan, one of the goals of the library is to connect people with the universe of possibilities to enrich their lives. And one of the ways we have provided for that is grants for summer reading and events and programs. We've also given the library extra money for supplies and some materials for the teens and the Youth Detention Center, and also contributed books and materials. And so we like to think that we do have such a good partnership with the library. And as evidence of that, we have created I'm happy to say, our supporting organization, our 509A3 Articles of Incorporation were filed February 4th. The name of the organization is Friends Investing in Sacramento Public Library. And I have with me, just to say a couple of words about it, David Wagner, who is elected president of that particular board.
Great, Mr. President.
Well, nice to hear those words. After about 37 years at Sac State, I've been retired about 7 or 8 years, and and actually, we do know each other from his time as a student leader at Sac State. The organization has filed with the Secretary of State's office for official recognition, and it's a unique type of organization in terms of the code. It is set up solely to support other nonprofits or charitable organizations. And in our articles, there are 2 organizations that we solely support, and that would be the library and the Friends of the Library. It's been about 24 days since we filed. We've had our first board meeting. Obviously, I didn't get out of the room fast enough before the election, and they asked if I would serve as president. I would hope to be able to come back to you once our formal discussions with the library and the Friends are completed, and we start to form a better picture of the specific types of support where our organization would be of assistance. So at this point, we are still a work in progress, although one where the roads of the legal system now are starting to move. So thank you for your attention, and I hope I have the opportunity to come back and speak with you as we're able to formulate a more specific agenda.
Great, we'll look forward to that. We have one board member has a comment, Mr. Guerra.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Wagner, for being here today, and I won't be organizing a protest in your office this time, but...
Yes. And that invitation for, was it Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner?
That's right, for Christmas.
Christmas dinner is still open anytime.
Good.
All
Well,
right.
thank you for supporting the library and your years of commitment to higher education, and for that, go Hornets and Stingers up.
Mm-hmm. Right?
He's a glutton for punishment because he's also president of the Ardendemic Friends of the Library.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate all the work you do. We'll move to 3.2, Sacramento Public Library Foundation. Mr. Derringer.
Good afternoon, everyone. I just want to give a brief report on what we're up to. I trust you all got your belated delivery of our packet. We have 5 active endowments that we are administering, and that includes the most recent one we've inaugurated, the Children's Literacy Endowment. Within less than 18 months, we have so far raised right around $900,000 for that particular endowment, so it's off to a very solid start. We're still in the private phase of it. We really like to get to about 1.2 million before we go public with it, so we're continuing to work on that. I think we reported last time, so I won't talk about it again, on our launch of the Community Literacy Map, that interactive digital map. that continues to generate a lot of interest, and it's already proving to be a valuable tool for many people who care about literacy in the region. I spent a fair amount of time in my cover letter emphasizing our what I think are unique qualifications as an organization to engage in fundraising and the management of funds long term. I did that because it appears that, as you've just heard, everybody seems to want to get into the private fundraising business, and this includes the Friends and the library itself. This is of some concern to the foundation for a number of reasons. We have not had an opportunity as a board to discuss this. We're going to, and I think by the time I appear before you next, I will be able to share with you our board's response to that. Our big annual fundraising event, Authors on the Move, is this coming Saturday, and I hope to see 2 or 3 of you there anyway. We've got the big ballroom there at the Hyatt sold out again, and got some, 35 authors or something who are going to show up. So it should be a really interesting evening. Our keynote speaker is David Lawrence, former editor of the Miami Herald, and who has, for the last 20 years since his retirement, worked on children's welfare in the state of Florida in various aspects, but literacy is something that's very important to him as part of his work there. So I think he's going to be interesting, and we have scheduled a follow-on session with him on Sunday morning, and we're convening a number of people who are prominent in the literacy effort here in the Sacramento region for a brainstorming session on Sunday, and so we're hoping some very useful things come out of that, because I haven't met him yet, but apparently David Lawrence is a very inspired sort of person. So that's really it. If there aren't any questions, that's actually all I have to report for the moment.
I don't see any questions, but thank you very much.
Okay, thanks.
Congratulations on the endowments.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to move to our director's reports. Ms. Sass,
Thank you.
might pull the mic towards you.
Oh, thank you.
Perfect.
I will refer the board to my written report, and just want to mention a couple of highlights, and that is that we're thrilled that the City Council of Sacramento has approved once again summer hours for 7 days a week at the Valley High, North Laguna, and Martin Luther King libraries. We're already starting to plan programs and make sure that we provide the best possible service we can, and we're thrilled to be open 7 days a week. This actually fits into so many other things that we do at the library, including our lunch at the library program, because that's another 2 days a week that we'll be able to feed kids. And between those 2 libraries being open, as well as 11 county branches, many of whom provide summer lunch, we'll be able to feed more kids. And that's one of the things that we truly know needs to happen in our community. I also want to mention, speaking of money, about an hour before the board meeting, I got notification that Vanessa Centano at the Colonial Heights Library just got a small grant to do additional programming, $3,000, yep, to do additional programming with Native American youth. If you haven't been to one of her programs where she worked, I think she's another teen whisperer. We have many at the library, but I stopped in to talk with her a couple of weeks ago, and her office is about the size of the desk where Roxana and our council are, and she had 2 teens in there, and while I was there, another one stopped in to talk about the volunteer work that he was doing for the library, and he's about 11, and he's actually presenting programs to other kids. So we're really happy about that. That expands. They're doing so much there, so I was really thrilled about that. I also want to take a moment. Sacramento Public Library is continuing our quest to pirate really, really good staff and managers from other library systems. So I want to introduce Leanna and Ashley, would you stand up? Leanna Acevedo is here from New York Public Library. She made the very brave move of coming here, and I think the weather today may actually be a factor. She's one of our new public services managers. Ashley True is from a little closer to home. She's been working at the Roseville Library, and we're discovering they're a great training ground for people. We're stealing as many people as we can from Roseville, and it's always good. I also want to mention, because he's not here, we had a great event yesterday at the Valley High North Laguna Library adjacent to, with the Boys and Girls Club grand opening. It was a really amazing event. Councilmember Carr's hard work to make that happen really paid off, and it really was so exciting to see all the kids, to see our mayor playing ping pong afterwards, and to know that there's another amazing partnership opportunity for the library. We've already talked about programs and meals and summer reading and all the things that we want to make happen for our District 8 community. So that's my report, and I think I'm going to turn it over to Director Frost to talk a little bit about Amber, if that's all right.
Why don't we do that at the end of the meeting if we want to adjourn in that memory?
Okay.
Darren?
Yeah, thank you. I just welcome, by the way. It's great to have you here with us. Rivka, on the summer hours, I'd like to work with you maybe to get some engineers out there for your STEM and STEAM programs.
Excellent.
The professional engineers in California
Yes.
government, I think, would love to participate.
That would be fantastic.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Great. Sounds good. And I just want to throw one kudo on the summer food program. Thank you so much, because I know the city backed out of that a number of years ago. And so it's just extremely important for what you're doing.
Could I mention one more thing, and that is there's a press conference tomorrow. Again, Senator Dr. Richard Pan is trying for 1 million meals. I think we got pretty close last year, but there is a press conference in the morning, and the library's been invited to be there, to be present, because we're a pretty important partner, and we're very proud of what we're able to do. So thank you for mentioning that.
All right, that's the directors. Mr. Guerra.
Just wanted to mention on the press conference, and if any members who are also part of the AQMD, it's going to be a joint press conference with a lot of different folks, including an announcement of the zero-emission taco truck that Chandos is building. But it's the whole point of healthy kids can't learn, they can't read if they're not healthy, if they're not good foods, good air quality, all those pieces. So for those who are able to participate, I'd love to join you guys. I'll be out there as well.
Great. Thank you. That's the director's report. We're going to move through the information items. Stop me if you have questions on any of those items. 5.1 monthly financial report. 5.2 monthly treasurer's report. 5.3 monthly financial report. 5.4 quarterly investment performance report, Q2. 5.5 Sacramento Public Library annual report. 5.6 Finance Advisory Committee meeting summary. 5.7 safety protocols. 5.8 paperless agenda update. Mr.
Yeah, just on the paperless agenda.
Is this a flip phone conversation?
No, it's actually less tech than that, because without paper, what am I going to do? Flip phone, I know how to run that.
I promise we'll work with you.
No.
He knows his paper.
I want to save the library money, don't get me wrong, but I do rely on your on the print to help me with my agenda management.
Sure.
So, okay, thanks.
Okay, great. So we're good on information items. 6.0, consent calendar. Any questions or comments on the consent calendar?
Consent.
I have a motion by Mr. Cerna. Second by Mr. Swin. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion carries unanimously. Thank you. 7.0, approve the mid-year budget update. So
Okay, do you want to do it, or do you want me to?
let me just ask, I mean, I know the budget committee has gone through this. It's a pretty similar budget to last year with very few changes from that. Are there questions on the budget?
I just want to add, the only thing we changed after the Budget Audit Committee was we provided a little more narrative background to put it right up there as a summary for you, thinking that would make it easier. It's very minor,
Okay.
everything that's in
Great.
here.
No, I think you did a great job on it. Appreciate all the hard work. Gets better every year. So is there a motion to approve?
Motion approved.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion carries unanimously. 7.2, approve suspension of competitive bidding for facilities master plan and use of RFP process. Any questions on this item? I have a motion, and I'll second. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Election of board chair and vice chair. Jen, I believe these are two different items. We should take them up one at a time. So let's do the board chair first. Mr. Cerna.
Oh, sorry, I was going to speak to the vice chair.
Vice chair, okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to speak to the chair. I'd like to nominate Darren, who's served great as vice chair. A motion and a second. Any other comments? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
A quorum of the board says yes. This is all yours. Congratulations. We'll move to the vice chair. Mr. Cerna.
I'd like to nominate Supervisor and Director Sue Frost.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on Ms. Frost. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, and a unanimous decision for Ms. Frost as well. Congratulations. Appointment of the budget audit. So do I just finish today? Or do I give him the gavel now? Okay. Because I'm pretty excited about that.
You're on a roll.
Appointment of the Budget Audit Committee, FY 1920. We have a good Budget Audit Committee. Let me ask this. Is there anyone who is currently on the committee that wishes to be off, or who is not on the committee that wishes to be on? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and appoint the same Budget Audit Committee as we move forward. I'll move that myself. Mr. Guerra seconds it. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion carries unanimously. Congratulations to the Budget and Audit Committee. Reports, ideas from board members.
It's an honor to serve and
Turn your,
Who's on the budget?
do we have,
run the meeting as well as Jay.
do we have the list of who's on the Budget Audit Committee by any chance?
Of course, I didn't bring that. I brought the whole protocol. I'll get it
Okay.
to you.
But the chair and the vice chair certainly are required to be at every meeting at least 10 minutes early. All right, so that's it on 8.0. We're going to move to the adjournment. Ms. Frost, do you want to help us adjourn here?
Yes, I would like to adjourn in memory of a friend of the library, Amber Clark, who was tragically murdered on December 11th, 2018, and we haven't had a meeting since then, so we didn't have a chance to remember Amber, and I know Rivka's probably going to want to make some comments too, because you were very close, worked very close. But I remember Amber as bright and always so happy and vivacious, and she started in North Highlands, and from what I understand, she was promoted every year that she was part of the library. She was in North Highlands for about a year, and then she was promoted to manage in Orangevale, and then she was promoted to Southgate, and then ended up in the Natomas Library, where she did some amazing things, and there were several of us that were at her memorial at the Socopolis Library downtown in December, and I appreciated learning a little bit more about her. I guess she loved animals. She was funny, and the word that came out of her husband's mouth was that she had a quirky sense of humor or something like that. Did I remember it right? Yeah. She was a teacher, and she, I guess that's a good training ground for becoming a librarian, because she brought a lot of expertise to the library system. And so I know there is a memorial that has been established, and I don't know if you wanted to talk about that, Rivka. They've raised, I guess, $10,000?
In excess of $10,000 so far, and I probably can mention it here because it's not news yet, but it will be, I think, as of tomorrow. Kathy Middleton, our deputy director, had nominated Amber to be a library journal mover and shaker. That is it's a really distinctive honor for librarians who are making a difference across the country. We've nominated several people, and every year, we've had a couple in the past few years, but it's so competitive because literally hundreds of people are nominated. Amber had just been selected as a mover and shaker by the committee when she was murdered, and we weren't allowed to say anything about it because it comes out this week, the issue of the Library Journal, and it was for her work on promoting accessibility. And so they also mentioned that they are including a link to the memorial fund. And the fund specifically, and we're working very closely with the family. I have a call Sunday afternoon with her husband and her mother and her sister to talk about how we will support the programming for accessibility, because that's really what the intention was, to really honor her memory that way. So, and we'll continue to do extraordinary programs that she actually was beginning to train the staff to do, to be more inclusive, to make sure that we're working with special populations. So anyway, it's sort of bittersweet when I got the email saying, by the way, we're doing this, and it's kind of, we've never had to do one posthumously, but we're really honored and touched that that's happening. So.
I guess she had a sister who had special needs, and her life was dedicated to inclusion and special needs.
That's right.
So with that, it is bittersweet, and I want to extend my best wishes to the family and folks at the library. You don't get over a loss like that easily. It takes time, and I know it was obvious that the library staff everyone was devastated. It was a shock to everyone, so it'll take time. But may she rest in peace, and if we could close the meeting in her memory, that would be wonderful.
We will. Mr. Natoli.
Yes, I would just add only to what Rivka and Supervisor Frost have thus far said, that I too had the occasion to attend the memorial at the downtown library, Galleria. And one of the takeaways I had, obviously, certainly in our roles, we get called upon many times to either attend, or we were there because of someone we knew or loved or respected. And it was really evident that Sunday morning that not just her colleagues, and certainly both of her sisters, her mother were there, and her husband, but that library patrons and folks that knew her, worked with her, and some who had a closer relationship than others, but that she inspired many different positive things in people, and they spoke to them. They spoke from the heart, and obviously the tears, and certainly from time to time, a bit of laughter, obviously, in remembering some of the events in which people, had been a part of her life and she a part of theirs. But it was very moving. And again, I know folks lingered afterwards. It was a rainy day, and had a chance to share with one another. But I was very taken by the stories that were shared. And again, I think any of us could only be so, loved and honored in our lives to have some of the things that were said about Amber, said about ourselves, or about people close to us, because whether she knew it or not, as much as obviously her death was very tragic, and that loss will be felt forever. Some other things will be felt forever, and that's the inspiration, I think the fires that she lit within folks, and not just good memories, but I think the fact that some folks will carry on, and whether it's fighting for better access for folks that have challenges in their life, or through guidance she offered folks in their professional lives as librarians. But patrons, some of the folks that spoke up, you could just tell she made a real difference in her life, and it's terribly tragic, terribly unfortunate that her life ended as tragically it did, and obviously so early in life. But Again, I just certainly join with all of this community in acknowledging our loss, and certainly extending sympathy and condolences to her colleagues in the library, but certainly to her family. But again, sometimes in people's death, you learn about things that you would never know, and that's unfortunate that that's how you learn about them. But she was a very special person. So again, I certainly join with all of you and acknowledging her, and certainly in this meeting and recognizing her as well.
Thank you, Don, and thank you, Sue. Appreciate that. Certainly the hearts of the entire board and this institution go out to her family, and want to thank you, Rivka, and all those who helped you put everything together. I know the county chaplains played a big role as well, so this community always steps up when necessary. Unfortunately, sometimes you just wish it wasn't. With that, I want to thank everyone for allowing me to chair this for the last year, and I'll be back at the next meeting, sitting somewhere at the end. We're adjourned.